Konnichiwa, minasan. Welcome back to my channel. Until now, I've been learning Japanese for almost 3 years. Learning Japanese has given me so many opportunities, including the chance to actually visit Japan, experience the culture, and understand the language in real life, even if just a little. Being able to read signs, recognize words, or catch simple conversations there made everything feel so much more meaningful. And that's also why I really want to share this video with you today. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the resources and methods that helped me the most while learning Japanese, especially if you're studying on your own. Let's start with something that I think a lot of beginners overlook, which is reading early. A lot of people think you need to wait until you're at an intermediate level to start reading, but actually, starting early with the right materials can help you improve much faster. And that's where graded readers come in. These are basically short stories or texts that are written specifically for learners, so the vocabulary and grammar are simplified and controlled based on your level. Basic and short mangas, anime, newspaper, etc. are also good resources for beginners to train reading skills. You get content that's actually manageable. When I first started, I didn't fully understand everything I was reading, sometimes maybe just 20 or 30%, but that's completely okay. The goal is not to understand every single word, but to get used to the language, the sentence patterns, and the rhythm of Japanese. Over time, you'll start recognizing more and more naturally. Next, let's talk about kana, hiragana, and katakana. These are the foundation of Japanese, so if you're just starting, this should be your first focus. Everything you learn later, vocabulary, grammar, even kanji, will rely on how comfortable you are with kana. When I restarted my learning, I didn't rush through all the characters at once. I only learned a few each day and spent more time reviewing than adding new ones. That consistency helped me remember them much better instead of just memorizing and forgetting. Writing by hand can help at the beginning, but in reality, being able to recognize kana instantly while reading is way more important. One thing that I feel like a lot of people don't realize is that kana shows up in more ways than just the basic chart. For example, katakana is used a lot for loanwords, brand names, and even emphasis, kind of like italics in English, so you'll see it everywhere in menus, ads, and daily life in Japan. Hiragana, on the other hand, is often used for grammar endings and also appears above kanji as furigana to help you read. Getting used to these patterns early makes reading feel much less intimidating later on. For tools, one app I found really helpful is MochiKana. It gives you a structured way to learn and review kana, so you're not just memorizing randomly. It's especially useful for building fast recognition, which is what you actually need when you start reading real content. It also has a writing practice feature, where you can trace and write each character while following the correct stroke order, which helps a lot with memory and accuracy. The app uses flashcards with audio, so you can learn both the sound and the shape of each kana at the same time. There are also quizzes and review exercises that test your recognition and recall, making sure you actually remember what you've learned instead of just recognizing it passively. Overall, it feels a lot more interactive compared to just using a chart, and it helps you build a much stronger foundation from the beginning. Now, let's talk about kanji, which is probably the part that scares most people. I struggled with this a lot at the beginning. At first, I tried to avoid kanji completely because it felt overwhelming, and then later I did the opposite. I tried to learn way too many characters at once. And honestly, both approaches didn't work at all. What really changed things for me was learning kanji together with vocabulary, instead of treating them as separate things. Before, I used to try memorizing one kanji at a time, just the meaning or maybe a few readings. But it felt really abstract, and I would forget it very quickly. When I switched to learning kanji through vocabulary, everything started to make more sense. Instead of memorizing a random character, I would learn it inside a word, with its meaning, reading, and how it's actually used in a sentence. That way, I only needed to remember one reading at a time, And over time, as I saw the same kanji in different words, I naturally picked up its other readings and meanings. Another benefit of this approach is that it gives you context, which is something a lot of learners are missing. You also start recognizing patterns, like how certain kanji appear in related words, and that helps you guess meanings even if you see something new. It also makes your learning feel more practical. Instead of thinking, I need to finish learning all kanji, you're actually building vocabulary that you can use in real life, whether it's reading, listening, or even speaking. Of course, this method still takes time, but it feels a lot more natural and less overwhelming. Another really important thing is reviewing. If you don't review consistently, you'll forget things very quickly, sometimes even the next day. That's why spaced repetition is so effective, because it helps you review at the right time instead of just randomly going over everything again. Personally, I've been using MochiKanji for this, and it fits really well with how I like to study. The app has very structured learning paths, with kanji and vocabulary organized by JLPT levels, textbooks like Genki or Minna no Nihongo, so you don't feel lost choosing what to learn next. Each kanji includes on, kun, furigana, meaning mnemonic, and example sentences, so you're learning in context instead of just memorizing isolated information. It also shows stroke order clearly and has a writing practice feature, so you can actually practice writing the kanji instead of just recognizing it. What I also like is that the app includes different types of quizzes, like multiple choices, writing, which helps reinforce your memory from multiple angles, not just one. But the feature I find the most helpful is called the golden time. Basically, the app calculates the time, tracks your learning history, and reminds you to review right before you're about to forget something. So instead of forcing yourself to revise or wondering when to review, you just follow the system, and it feels much more efficient. Over time, your vocabulary is also divided into 5 different levels, from newly learned to long-term memory, so you can clearly see your progress building up. And honestly, that's really motivating, especially when you feel like you're not improving. Moving on to textbooks, I know a lot of people use Genki or Minna no Nihongo, and they're both great. Some beginner textbooks come with audio, exercises, and even online courses, and they focus a lot on real-life communication, which I think is really important. Once you get a bit more comfortable, you can start reading more natural content. And at that point, using reading tools can make a big difference. Over time, you'll start understanding more without needing to translate everything. And finally, let's talk about listening and exposure. This is something that a lot of learners skip, but it's honestly one of the most important parts. Even if you don't understand much at first, just listening regularly helps you get used to how Japanese sounds, how sentences are structured, and how people actually speak in real life. You can start with slower content like beginner podcasts or simple videos, and the key is just to stay consistent. You don't need to understand everything. Progress happens gradually. So yeah, those are some of the resources and methods that helped me the most in my Japanese learning journey. It's not about finding the perfect method, but about finding what works for you and sticking with it. If you're just starting, don't stress too much. Start small, stay consistent, and adjust as you go. I've also put all the resources in the description below if you want to check them out. And if you're also learning Japanese, feel free to share your experience or tips in the comments. I'd love to learn from you too. See you in the next video.